I knew in college that I wanted to write. I read this story called I Stand Here Ironing by Tilly Olson. And it was this beautiful story of, it's a monologue of a mother talking to her daughter. And I had been in literature classes where we were reading Moby Dick and House of Seven Gables and these big tomes, and we were reading about war and whales, and then all of a sudden here's this quiet story of just a mother talking to her daughter, and I thought, I think that's important, and I think it's important to make those unimportant moments in our lives beautiful, and I want to write that. And I also knew some people come into this world old. I did not. I needed to grow up a whole lot. I needed to have life experience. And so there was a sense that I wouldn't write that book for a long time. There was one time when I went to a reading, and there was this author who I really, really respected, and she was talking about her characters and how they were real people to her, and how they had hijacked the ending of the book, and they took it away. And I'm thinking, you are just making this up. This is just not true. And I went up to her afterwards, and I had her sign my book, and I was young and stupid, and said, I'm a writer, and no characters ever talk to me. And she just looked at me with this lovely, generous smile and said, well, maybe you're not listening. And first of all, it shut me up completely. But beyond that, it was as if when I took that cooking class, some door opened and I started listening. I first took that cooking class in 2001, and this book came out in 2009. So it had a very long gestation period. I kind of did in years what most people do in months. But part of that was because life happened. I had young children, I had a job, so every once in a while I could come back and work on it. And so over those 6 years that I was writing, I grew up, and the book grew up. And so, for example, there's a character, Claire, who was a young mother. And when I started the book, I was a younger mother than when I finished the book, which was when my children were going off to college. And as a mother, I knew different things by the time I finished writing that story than when I started. And so Claire stayed the same age, but my understanding of what she was going through developed and grew over that time. So I was really glad that that book had the length of time it had been to be written.